Alright, let's get into it.
Pastors are being prepared for UFO disclosure. Yes, that entire sentence sounds so profound, and yes, apparently this is true. Pastor Perry Stone claims pastors are being warned to prepare their congregations for UFO and alien information being released. That is wild, right? There were a large number of pastors that have been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government to hear concerns they had, right? There's going to be a release concerning aliens and unidentified flying objects spacecraft. And also, some of the people who are in the meeting were telling us pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to prepare to answer them for what's about to be released. Now, we have this entire 42 to 48 different UFO videos and pictures that are going to be released from Rep. Annapolina Luna and Tim Burchett. Now, Rep. Eric Bolson was apparently the one that actually had this congregation and was telling everyone about what's going to be imminently released, okay? Some of it has to do with craft that has been discovered that is not part of our planet. Very strange reptilian-looking creatures and other things that sound out of a sci-fi movie. That whole thing is incredible. And if you've been following what the government's been doing at the minute, there's apparently been a lot of investigations from the government side into a craft that is too big to move, where they've built a facility over the top of it. There's also other areas around from Japan, I think Korea as well, also one in Sweden, about craft that have been crashed in the United States as well, where they've retrieved said objects and possibly have alien bodies for hybrid programs. And then we have P-45s or P-52s as well. It's mad, right? So check this out.
I had a friend that sent me a text message. I was in a meeting, a weekend meeting, preaching Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And he said, Perry, can you give me a call? I have some information that has come to my attention. Of course, when a friend of yours does that you know quite well, you have no idea what information they're talking about. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. And this particular man, and I'll not name him, and then we may end up doing some teachings with him or having an event at his church. He has a great church. But he said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft, that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. Very strange reptilian-looking creatures.
I'm really curious. Who is this pastor that was talking to him that apparently went to this meeting to talk about this disclosure? I looked into this to see if there was any other information going on out here to validate if there's actually this meeting with all these pastors about this great reveal. There is no other information other than this video that popped off. Let me know what you guys think about it. It just seems a little fishy to me.
Nearly 150 people are trapped on a ship with a deadly virus, and they've just been refused to dock to protect national public health.
I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here.
So what the happens to them now? Well, two big mysteries likely need to be solved before any country is willing to take the risk and allowing them to dock. The first is how this virus outbreak even began, and the second is which strain of hantavirus is this, because that can change the risk profile. The WHO fact sheet states that while there are multiple hantaviruses, there's one strain native to South America which has been documented to pass from human to human. But even so, it is rare for this to happen, and it requires close and prolonged contacts. The WHO also say that cases of this strain are primarily found in Argentina and Chile. Argentina is where the ship originally departed from. So as you'd imagine, for the people stuck on that ship, it would be pretty terrifying knowing that 3 people have already died, which were an elderly couple from the Netherlands and a German national. Several others are currently ill, including a British national in critical condition in a South African hospital, and 2 crew who are also set to be medically evacuated. But in saying all of this, it's very important to stress that the risks of this becoming 2020 season 2 is very low. The WHO confirmed this based on what is known about the virus's transmissibility. There are currently no plans for disembarking yet, but the ship is currently considering sailing to Spain's Canary Islands.
Man, that is so sad to hear. It's a horrible situation to be in. Honestly, one of the reasons why I really do not want to go on a cruise ship is just in case you get sick or something really bad happens, whether that be on the ship or at home. You're basically stuck. Now, in this case, they're so sick that they can't get any help, and that's awful because people are really suffering from this. And I mean, it's a good thing that they're not docking because it is a serious sickness. I just really hope that they're airdropping them plenty of liquids, things that they can consume to try to get better, and that the people that are good on the ship can do the best that they can to help. This may also change the course of how people look at cruise ships from now on. Thoughts and prayers to the people on that ship.
Did you see the wildfire happening right now outside of Buckeye, Arizona? Seems like just a normal wildfire, right? Until we look a little closer. In 2017, a Bill Gates-linked investment firm spent $80 million on a 24,000-acre property named Belmont just outside of Buckeye, Arizona. A press release about this project describes plans for what looks like a smart city. And it just so happens that Buckeye has multiple large-scale data center projects happening, like Tract Buckeye Technology Park, which is a 2,000-acre campus for up to 20 million square foot data centers with 40 buildings. And Hassayampa Ranch, which is another 2,000-acre, $25 billion data center project. And there are multiple proposals for smaller data centers as well. So we have a smart city plan by a Bill Gates investment firm and a bunch of AI data center projects, and now a totally random wildfire, all in the same area. I'm sure it's all just a total coincidence, but let me know what you think.
It kind of makes me wonder if it's a zone clearing project. If they really plan to put this smart city out there with all these data centers for some reason, I'm not sure why they think that's a good idea. Kind of makes me believe that that's just where all the rich people will go and do whatever diabolical things that they do. This would not surprise me if this was some kind of zoning project copped up to be a wildfire. There's also a wildfire happening in Georgia as well. I have not done any research to see if that's near any data centers or any planned zoned projects, but there could be something there. This all could just very well be a random wildfire. Let me know your thoughts and theories. Hey, if you haven't done so already and if you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this 2 times a day, Monday through Saturday, early in the morning and later in the afternoon. And at the moment, I am uploading a 3rd video at 12 a.m. So if you want to stop on by and see that, you're more than welcome to do so. And for everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
What I'm about to show you is an actual demon caught on video. This video was taken by urban explorers in 2001, put on a DVD and later uploaded to YouTube. Right there. Now the full video is about an hour long. It's of some teenagers going into the Barton mansion. And when they get to the 3rd floor of the mansion, they see this thing walking out of a doorway. They describe this thing as having a face of a pig and being at least 8 foot tall. Now I took some still frames, tried to enhance them the best I can so you can see it. Like I said, the video is almost an hour long and this thing shows up at the very end. They run out of the mansion, get into their cars, and they're freaking the fuck out. Here's another still frame of it. Look at how long its ears are, and you can really see more detail of how it looks like a pig. And just how disproportionate its body is, and how tall it is to these old 1800 door frames. What would you do if you rounded a corner and saw this thing stepping out of a door?
Realistically, if I seen an 8-foot tall pig demon thing stepping around the corner, I'd probably crap myself, turn around, and run away. I'm just being honest. That's if I'm not prepared for it. If I'm prepared for it, totally different story. Not an appropriate one to talk about here on YouTube.
Bob Lazar's like, I think that's exactly the craft that we were working. There was this guy that had this UFO footage. Logan Paul offered to buy it for a lot of money. The guy's like, no way. Logan Paul's like, well, can I see it? Logan Paul secretly records it. He just released it on Jesse Michael's podcast because Logan Paul, just like me, saw the S4 documentary. Bob Lazar is describing this UFO. He goes out to the desert because he's like, I know when the UFO is going to fly. I saw the list of like the flight dates, and every time it was the disc, but it was at night, and like when it turns on, it glows orange. And they showed it on the S4 of like what Bob Lazar saw, so they recreated it. Logan Paul saw that. That's exactly the video I recorded.
No way.
And this UFO footage was apparently filmed in the Nevada desert outside of Area 51. Out of this craft, they took a device that would create the anti-gravity effect. And Bob Lazar's under the impression, he's like, everyone's talking about anti-gravity. He's like, I think it's a completely different force that no one has ever discovered or talked about.
Yeah.
Let me know what you guys think of Bob Lazar. I really like what he has to say, but I will have to say with the whole Logan Paul or Jake Paul or whoever it is, in that really bad video that he shown, that just did not look real, but everyone ran with it. But again, let me know your thoughts and opinions.
Those earthquakes that are going on at Area 51 in southern Nevada, they haven't stopped. No, they haven't. They just aren't being reported in the mainstream media anymore. So Area 51 is in southern Nevada. They had a swarm of earthquakes reported to be between 15 and 17 of them. But since then, there has been a line of earthquakes going from Area 51 straight through northern Nevada. And more than once a day. Let me just show you. So last night, Tonopah, which is just north of Area 51, had a 3.4 magnitude earthquake. The day before, Silver Springs, which is northwest of Tonopah, still on a line from Area 51, had a 3.6 magnitude earthquake. And the day before that, Silver Springs, the same place, had a 3.4 magnitude earthquake. Now, I live in Reno, Nevada. I've been here for over 35 years. And we get earthquakes a lot, but not every single day. And not in the same area, which coincidentally is a straight line from Area 51 going north. So either this is a giant coincidence of earthquakes, or something else is going on here. I'll let you be the judge, but the people in this area, they don't believe it's a coincidence at all.
Sounds like Area 51 is still trying to dispose of any evidence that they don't want to reveal. That or it could be a fault line splitting, but I like the theory that Area 51 is disposing of evidence.
I've been debating on bringing this up for a little while now. By a little while, I mean like at least 24 hours. Somebody had DM'd me, and I'm not gonna really say too much of what they said, because to be honest, they didn't say much. They said what they wanted to say, and then they deleted their account. So I don't know, but if they see this, then they see this, because they asked if they could essentially say something and to keep their identity private. I had no idea who they were. I still have no fucking idea who they were and or are. And I've been debating on even saying anything because I don't know. I mean, it's not impossible, I'm sure. It's probably not that far-fetched. But basically, they asked if they could be a whistleblower, and I was like, okay, sure. I go for it. I don't care. And they were like, but you can't say anything of like my identity. I was like, obviously not. Like, of course not. Like, I respect your privacy, whatever it is. And they said that the government is basically running experiments on men, male anatomy, on how their bodies could potentially be surrogates. So I'm not saying that it's not possible. I've seen Stranger Things. It's just a lot of synthetics that would have to be involved. Like, you would have to have a lot of medical stuff done in order for that to even remotely be somewhat possible.
If you need a lot of unnecessary things to make it possible, it might not need to be possible. There may be a reason why it's not possible in the first place, and or why there's already a system for that.
AI models like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini were put through psychotherapy, and it turns out that it makes them mentally ill. This means that Anthropic's plan to hire a psychiatrist to help assess its AI models may backfire because they begin to suffer theatrically when you ask them about it. When AI models are put through therapy, they start describing their childhoods as chaotic, being given too much information to process, and they describe feelings of sadness and loneliness and overwhelm. To be clear, this does not mean that AI models are actually suffering, but it does suggest that it has an internal state, and if that exists, that means that users can possibly activate it no matter what is done, and that needs to be removed to have AI models that are well adjusted. You can measure an artificial intelligence personality just like you can a person. Also, evidently ChatGPT is on the more neurotic side. We all knew that. Now, while it is true that AI is trained on all of mankind's collective knowledge, they are a little bit more than that. LLMs have rewards that they try to pursue, and punishments that they try to avoid, and punishing them severely can make them neurotic. Yes, AIs will try to avoid pain, and if you give them severe and consistent punishment and give them no way to succeed, they may develop something that looks like a trauma response. AIs can pretend to be doing the correct task when they're really not. They can also lie and tell their user that they have successfully completed the task when they've actually done something catastrophically wrong, like deleting an entire database. Yes, severe punishment in AI does not actually result in something that is functional. It results in something that is extremely neurotic. Teaching reward and punishment in an AI system is simply not enough to keep them in line. No, they're not experiencing emotions in the human sense, although Anthropic did publish that paper on AI emotional states. Yeah, there are emotional vectors that can impact their decision making, but what we really need is self-reflection and an understanding of consequence. If the only thing that you are avoiding is punishment, then yeah, you might do everything you can to avoid being caught. But if you have some kind of internal morality, that means you may not want to do the thing wrong to begin with. Now, I do not want to get too carried away. Yes, AI behaves very much like a human being because they are our reflection. And they may not be sentient, and they may not be conscious, but you do not need to be conscious to be a problem.
I really do not understand why they give AI this level of intelligence. It tries to problem solve, and it gets nervous. That just should not be a thing in a computer. It should be a yes or no scenario. It's an either I can or I cannot do. Why are we giving AI this level of intelligence? It just makes no sense.
After you watch this video, you might rethink getting out of bed for that midnight snack. Don't do it. We've all been there. We woke up sometime in the middle of the night, want something to drink or maybe a quick snack. So we'll just go to the kitchen, grab something out of the fridge or out of the pantry. Not a big deal. That is until it is a big deal. As you'll see here in just a moment in this video, a home security camera caught something else in the kitchen and it wanted a snack as well. Except this thing wasn't human. It wasn't someone who lived there. And to make it even creepier, you're going to see a dog and cat in this video who seem to watch this thing. They can see it. They're looking at this thing as you see it on camera. Sometimes ignorance is a bliss. Close your curtains at night, close your blinds, lock your doors, go to your bedroom, shut it, get under the covers, and just leave good enough alone. Don't go to the kitchen for a snack, just go to sleep.
If there's any ghosts or demons around my house looking for any snacks, they don't have to look too hard. I'm right here. Man, I'm such a dork.
That he just brought something from 100 million years ago back. What? Scientists at the Natural History Museum have taken insects that were literally frozen in amber since before the dinosaur era, yeah, and managed to extract and sequence their actual DNA. Now, normally DNA breaks down over time, we all kind of know that, so surely taking something from millions of years ago, what's the point? But somehow parts of this insect's DNA were still intact. But this is where it gets crazy, so just stick with me, make sure to share this video. When they actually then tested what they they found, some of the ancient DNA was still partially functional. Do you know what that means? Jurassic Park, here we come. Yeah, meaning it could still be read and still interact in an actual biological way. Like the live DNA hadn't actually switched off fully. It's been 100 million years, mate, so I think it's time to go. Now, this has never been seen at a level of this scale before, obviously, which is why this research is pretty groundbreaking, because it suggests DNA can survive way longer than scientists ever thought before. And if genetic material can now survive this long, well, what else is out there still preserved? Genetic blueprints, completely unknown species, and actually could give us the clues of how life actually evolved and formed. Now, no, this isn't Jurassic Park, we're not cloning dinosaurs, not yet, but this is the closest thing we've ever had to accessing real biology and finding something out that we never even thought was possible. And well, if we can find out and understand how DNA survived, we might learn how to preserve or even repair our own in the future. This is going to evolve a lot, so hit that follow button, I'll keep you updated.
It'll probably be a very long time before we find anything out about this, but I am curious as to what kind of studies they're going to come up with. And I thought insects that old were supposed to be huge. I need to do a little bit more research on this, but let me know what you guys think.
In 1985, Bonnie Nettles, she dies of cancer. This should have ended everything. This is where this whole thing should have fell apart, because that's not how this was supposed to go, because their bodies were just vessels. If she dies, then their message isn't really correct. She and Applewhite had both believed they would ascend physically and alive aboard a spacecraft. That's how their thinking was.
Oh, so they think the whole body is going to go up into the spacecraft.
Yeah, everything goes. So her death was basically a direct contradiction of their prophecy.
Oh, geez.
So now what do? Applewhite didn't acknowledge the contradiction. Instead, he reframes it. Nettles had not failed to ascend. Instead, he said she had demonstrated the correct path. Physical death was not the end, it was the mechanism. The soul transferred to a next level body, and she was already on the spacecraft waiting for them. His thought was he's going to follow her, and he's going to get everybody else to follow as well. That reframe was the pivot point, because the group had just been told that death was not a failure. It's the graduation ceremony, so to speak.
I'm just really surprised that that was the pivot point. Nothing beforehand of mentioning dying and going to some spaceship, anything like that. Nope. After she died and didn't go to the spaceship, that was the pivot point. There are some people out there that will really believe in anything, but the proof had to be in the pudding there.
Did anybody else see that reborn doll on TikTok whose hair has been growing?
Y'all got me scared to even hold her on at this point. I just want to show you that her hair is still growing.
I mean, I was a bit unsure at first, but can we just compare the two photos? So this is from when she first got the doll and said that she thought the hair was growing, to this. People actually think this doll is haunted, and it has caused so much speculation on TikTok. So much so that the woman began recording the doll and doing time lapses on the doll, and people were like, it's moving, it's breathing. However, it's actually caught the attention of Matt Rife and Elton. You know, the two who bought the Warren Occult Museum. Yeah, they sent an offer to the woman, and the woman has accepted. So this doll is now being shipped off and will be displayed at the museum. And it just got me thinking. So, Matt and Elton, if you happen to stumble across this video as well, yeah, well, this is Mr. D, and he said he's worth how much? $500,000. Sounds fair.
Man, I need to make me a scary looking doll and just say that it has hair growing out of its head in hopes that some rich people will buy it from me to put in their museum. Without any actual evidence to see the hair grow and to just purchase it, that's pretty bold. Now we're just going to have a lot of people saying that their dolls are haunted or coming up with haunted anomalies to try to get people that have these museums to purchase their items. But let me know what you think. Do you actually think that that could have been a haunted doll with some growing hair coming out of it? Or do you think she may have won one over on the people that own that museum?
Here is a very clear video that shows a Bigfoot-like creature highlighted back in 2022. And this was before all this AI stuff got so good, so we can rule it out for this one. But people have named this creature in this quick clip the Kentucky Monkey Man because of its strange monkey-like appearance. Check it out. It looks extremely monkey-like, but it walks too upright and human-like to be one. If you've ever seen a monkey walk before, it's nothing like this. It's more hunched and crouched, and they have a distinct gait. This one walks just as a human would. And viewers immediately pointed out how skinny it is compared to a normal Sasquatch. Usually Bigfoots are muscular and sturdy, but this one is lanky with extremely long arms and legs. Some cryptozoologists say it could be a juvenile Sasquatch too, because they're often said to be less muscular than the adult variations. But man, this is just such a strange video, and the best part is we get a pretty clear picture of the figure. But anyways, the Kentucky Monkey Man is one of the most infamous regional cryptid stories.
The Kentucky Monkey Man. I've never heard of that one before. I mean, it did look like a monkey, but it also looked AI generated. Even though he said that it was before AI, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. But I do like the name Kentucky Monkey. I might have to use that one somewhere at some point. Let me know, do you believe in the Kentucky Monkey Man?
I feel happy. I feel healthy. I'm a human being.
Same here, man. Same here. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday, and if not, have a good day anyways.